When I first heard about height increasing foods, I laughed. Who wouldn't? It sounded like one of those ridiculous infomercials promising you the world if you just buy their magic potion. But then I thought about it. I've always been on the shorter side, and I've spent my life looking up literally and figuratively. So I figured, why not give it a shot? What's the worst that could happen? I'd eat a bunch of greens and maybe feel a little healthier. I started researching. I found lists of foods that supposedly help with growth: leafy greens, dairy, nuts, and protein-rich foods. I even stumbled upon some articles that claimed certain fruits could help too. I was intrigued. I went to the grocery store with a newfound determination, filling my cart with kale, spinach, yogurt, almonds, and bananas. I felt like I was on a mission, like I was about to unlock some secret to life that had eluded me for years. The first week was a whirlwind. I was blending smoothies, tossing salads, and snacking on nuts like they were going out of style. I felt good, energized even. Who knew that eating healthy could make you feel so alive? I was practically glowing. But then, as the days turned into weeks, I started to notice something strange. It wasn't just my energy levels that were changing. I felt taller. I know, it sounds absurd, but I swear I could feel a difference. I stood in front of the mirror, stretching my neck, trying to see if I could spot any changes. I even asked my friends if they thought I looked taller. They laughed, of course, but I could see a flicker of doubt in their eyes. I became obsessed. I started measuring myself every morning, convinced that I was growing. I'd stand against the wall, mark my height with a pencil, and then check again the next day. Nothing. But I kept eating those foods, convinced that I was doing something right. I read about how calcium strengthens bones and how protein helps with muscle growth. I was practically a nutritionist at this point, preaching the gospel of height-increasing foods to anyone who would listen. Weeks turned into months, and I was still the same height. I started to feel a little foolish, like I was chasing a dream that was never going to come true. How could I expect to grow at my age? But then I thought about it again. Maybe it wasn't just about the height. Maybe it was about the journey, about taking control of my health and well-being. I was eating better, feeling better, and that had to count for something, right? But then came the day I went to a family gathering. You know how it is. Everyone's gathered around, and the topic of conversation inevitably turns to height. My cousin, who's always been a head taller than me, made some offhand comment about how he was still growing. I felt that familiar pang of jealousy. I tried to brush it off, but it stung. Here I was, eating all the right foods, and yet I was still the same height. I felt like a fraud, like I had been fooling myself all along. That night, I sat on my bed, surrounded by the remnants of my healthy eating spree. I had a moment of clarity. Maybe it wasn't about the height at all. Maybe it was about embracing who I am, regardless of how tall I stand. I realized that I had gained something far more valuable than inches: confidence, health, and a sense of purpose. So I decided to keep eating those foods, not because I wanted to grow taller, but because I wanted to grow stronger, inside and out. And in that moment, I felt taller than I ever had before.